Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. Dylan and I are going to talk about episode 4 of Pennyworth and episode 5 of Wandavision.
Yep.
And so we hope you're watching and checking these shows out because they are really good. Now, I do have to say, I was unable to watch episode 4 because the file that I had didn't work for it. And you saw it on TV.
I saw
you
it
actually
on TV.
got to see it on TV.
Yeah, I watched it on TV last night,
So
actually.
we're going to have to let Dylan talk a little bit about it, and hopefully I'll get to see it there in the next few days, as I've tried a number of different ways, and I didn't get to see it, so I'll figure something out. But then we'll move on to WandaVision. So, Pennyworth.
So all in all...
Right there.
Yeah, there you go. All in all, amazing episode again. Continuing on with the whole... Where we're going with the whole thing.
So what happened?
Well, basically, he's basically working with the captain or whoever he was that he was with there, the guy that he knew from the guy that...
What guy?
You know, the guy that he was working with before, that they went both ends off the middle there. You know, he made money on both ends.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, okay.
He's working with him again. And basically, they robbed someone. They robbed some gold from someone, and they did it. And he asked him to come in and help him, and he did that because he's trying to get money again to go to America.
Right.
And he said to him, "I'll work with you," but he said, "I'm only going to do it." He said, "Till I have enough money to get to America," and he says, "Then I'm out."
Okay.
And so he said, "That's fine." He said, "Just we need your help and need this," and so they did that. And you can see in the course of what they're doing, because I mean, the guy wouldn't they had in the back of this whatever they were driving in, they were going to get the gold out of it, but in the box where the gold was supposed to be, it wasn't there. It was empty. So they started to try to question the guy that was in there that would have known, and anyway, Alfred comes over and he starts beating the shit out of him to try to get the answers, and he's beating him with the butt of the gun. Well, come on, where it? And then he puts the gun in his mouth, and he says, "Well, I'm going to count to 3, and if you don't tell me," he says, "that's it." And his buddy said to him, he says, "Take it easy, because I mean, if he's dead, he won't be able to tell us where it is, or whatever." Yeah. He says, "It doesn't matter." He says, "We'll find it anyway." And he puts the gun. He goes, 1, 2, 3, and he goes to pull. He goes, "All right, and he tells him it's in the steps where they were stepping up into the thing, And he's like, so they got the gold and they did it. And anyway, one of the people was saying to him, he says, "You're still quite angry and upset about, losing your buddy guy. And losing your buddy and doing." He says, "Yeah, I'm upset and I'm angry and whatever." But anyway, he's still getting over it, and you can tell the way that he's handling the way that he's doing things.
Okay.
There's a lot of pent up anger and a lot of pent up frustration, and a lot of, you can...
So that was that part of the story.
That was that part of the story.
So what was going on with the two women?
The two women are still just walking around trying to find out where they're going to go and do that kind of thing. They weren't...
Now, did Metal Nose send the guys to kill them?
No, he didn't, because he asked somebody if they'd heard from her, and the guy that his immediate assistant said, "No, we haven't heard anything yet," in which I think he's lying. But he said...
So you think it was his lackeys
I think it's lackeys that's what it looks like.
Like I said last time. It's the lackeys that sent them? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you hear from them, let me know,
Okay.
kind of thing. So it's obvious he didn't send them to kill them. Okay. Somebody, like one of the underlings decided to take it upon themselves. So it's quite obvious that way. Other than that...
that was it?
No. Then...
what about Thomas Wayne and Martha?
Thomas and Martha ended up getting together and making out.
Oh, well, there you go. There's going to be a Batman after all, everybody.
Yeah, they managed to get them to, get back.
Her.
Yeah. I was watching it, and I was going, okay, Saw. They brought it back in,
Yeah, I kind of figured those two couldn't keep their hands off each other.
Well,
after all, they got to have a Batman somewhere, right?
That's right. So, they got to have them, So they kind of did their thing. So they brought it sort of back in there, So it's good that way. And basically still it's just a matter of where it's going to... He asked him to come back for one more job.
Okay.
And he said, "Nope, I got enough money to go," and that's all. And he said, I just need you for one more. He said, this is a big one. So I need you to. He said, and he didn't say no. He said, I'll think about it.
Okay.
But the thing is, I'm thinking that the idea behind it is if he goes, he wants to kill him when he does it. That's just me. They didn't say that, but I think that
that's kind of what it's leading towards, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. I guess we have to wait till March to find out because it's off till March now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Leave it in the... okay. But anyway, great episode. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it out.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. So
yeah,
that's
great episode.
So I before we go into WandaVision, I'm going to play the trailer, the new trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, starting, I believe they said it was March the 18th on Disney Plus. Is going to be the first episode, maybe the first 2 episodes, I don't know how they're going to do it, of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we're going to take take a couple of minutes, and we're going to play the trailer for everybody to see right here. Because it's really good. So there we go. Check out that trailer. I mean, it's awesome. It's
When is that out?
like I said, March 18th.
March 18th.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you said. I wanted
So
to.
it's really, I mean, the whole trailer is phenomenal.
Cool.
And,
Okay.
There's just a little bit of it. But yeah, like I am so looking forward. So we're gonna see. Obviously, we're gonna see Falcon, the Winter Soldier. We're gonna see Sharon Carter again. Of course, Baron Zemo is the villain. There's some hints.
Looks interesting.
Oh, we're going to be introduced to Madripoor, which is a big X-Men hint. Madripoor is a city that has a lot of X-Men ties. Of course, there's ties to Weapon X, which is Wolverine. So there's all kinds of hints about what's starting to go on and where they're kind of leading things. So it'll be really interesting to see through the trailer here once it starts. I can't wait to see just how it's going to go. But there's lots of really cool stuff that looks like it's going to be happening. Looking forward to it. And while the trailer's still going, of course, the other rumor that I have heard is that Black Widow is going to come to Disney Plus as well. Given the way the pandemic is going, I think we might see a Disney Plus cinema release at the same time, like they did with Wonder Woman, like DC did with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Where they'll release it in cinemas and it'll get released on Disney Plus, so that they'll kind of have the
with
the double
this whole
income
thing going on.
I mean, honestly, it's supposed to come out in May. Sorry, the pandemic is still going on, as we know. It's not going to be over by May. I mean, because it's already the middle of February, and
they're saying that
March, April, and May. So we're talking 3 months. There's no way it's going to be over in 3 months. There's still going to be probably another wave come.
That's what they said. Yep. So
the whole thing. So if that's what they do, I'm hoping that's what they do, is they do release it on Disney Plus, because I don't mind paying a movie theater price to watch it on TV. I mean, I have a 60-inch at home. I don't care. I'm good. I don't need to go to the theater to see it. I know there's a lot of people that's how they like to go to the movies or whatever, but honestly, I much prefer watching the movies at home than I do in a theater with a whole whack of other people anyway. So
it's all what you're at.
I mean, other people enjoy that. So, I mean, if they kind of do the both release, I like that idea. I wish all movies would do that, honestly. Charge the same amount that you would make off of, the theater price. I don't care.
Just to watch it online.
Just to watch it online and see it at home, and then once I've paid for it, I can watch as many times as I want. Great.
Yeah.
All the more. I don't care. Anyway, so that was the whole trailer. So there we go. While I've been talking, I know the trailer's ended. So let's move on to WandaVision. There we go. So, what did you think of the 5th episode of WandaVision?
Well, we got to see both sides this time.
Mm-hmm.
Went back and forth on this one. And it was quite interesting, actually, this time, because you're going sort of, back and forth. And, it was interesting. I enjoyed the way that it's
There is a lot of a lot to take in from this episode.
That's sort of what I thought you were going to say, because I figured there was a lot of things I was missing, but
Tons.
I'm watching it and I'm sort of going, yeah, okay. As I said, I'm watching and going, oh, okay. There's going to be a lot that he's going to have to explain, I'm sure. But
so obviously, the big thing to take away from this episode is that we learn that
she came right out of the thing.
Wanda is the one mind controlling everybody, and somehow altering reality inside of the hex. We also learn that Vision is starting to clue into things that are going on.
Yeah.
There are a lot of hints from pretty early on in the episode, like pretty much right at the beginning when they're with the babies. There are hints almost right away that Wanda is controlling things. Because there's a point when she asks Vision to go, and this is like within the first few minutes, she asks Vision to go get their soothers. I don't know, she calls them binkies. I don't know why she call them the binky, but anyway, she asks them to go get the soothers. So when he goes off, she looks at things and at the two babies, and she's like, I know parents aren't supposed to take shortcuts or whatever, but she does something, and she's like, why won't you do what I want? And that's very key, because we learn later in the episode that it is all her controlling everything, and she can't control the children. Because that's the first thing she says is, why aren't you doing what I want? And we later come to learn that she can't control them. They age on their own.
They made themselves. They made themselves get older for the.
She can't control the children, and later on in the episode, at the very end, which I'll get to, Vision says, "You can't control me like you control everyone else," and she says, "Can't I?" But she can't. She thinks she can, but she can't. Now, I have, of course, very soon after, obviously, in comes Agnes. And Agnes, and then they talk about the babies or whatever, and then she looks and she's like, do you want me to take that from the top?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when Vision starts to clue in that something's wrong.
Yeah, like they were redoing it.
They were redoing there's so much that you can see that now it's starting to come across that she is controlling. And of course, there's the interview with Monica where they're talking to her, and she's like, well, yeah, she controlled my mind. She controlled everything.
Well, that guy in the office that he was talking to.
I'll get to that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Where she's saying, like Wanda had control, and Wanda altered her bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Her Kevlar vest, and it was her whole outfit became
that's right.
So much percentage Kevlar. And then of course when Vision is in the office.
Well, you found that out when they shot it and realized it. Yeah.
When Vision's in the office there, right here, and they get the email, and they all start reading the email from Sword.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, Vision touches Buddy, and he finds out that this is... there's a lot that's hinting at the fact that Wanda is in control. Of course, we then learn that...
but you said it wasn't Wanda last week.
And it's not. So we then learn that Wanda went to Sword and stole Vision's corpse.
Yep. They had the video of that.
And now, the thing about that is, how did Wanda know that's where Vision's corpse was? We still haven't figured that out. Also, because it was a classified location, because he says that.
Okay. I didn't remember that, but okay.
Apparently, this whole thing has happened within 9 days. Because he says, until 9 days ago, this is where Vision's corpse was.
Okay, so this whole thing so far has only been 9 days.
Of course,
past.
Wow. Monica figures out that they can send in a drone from the 1980s, and it won't get altered by Wanda, which is what they do. Then Wanda comes strolling out.
That's right.
Of the anomaly, in her Avengers outfit with the drone, throws it at them, mind controls all the guys there to point their guns at the director, and then she basically gives them a warning to stay the hell away, and off she goes back in. Monica, of course, says that from looking at it, that she senses that there's a lot of grief in Wanda and stuff, and which you have to remember, this is only within within days after. It's less than 3 weeks since Avengers Endgame that this actually takes place. Because Wanda, she says that she, like the feeling of Wanda's grief is very overpowering there, so I think what's happened, and this has not changed what I said about Mephisto. I do believe Mephisto is the villain. I think what he has done is he has perpetuated her grief even further, and he's given her the ability to, because see, she's exhibiting, and they mention this, they're talking about her having powers that seem to be above anything she has ever shown before. And I think what has happened is, between the agreement that she's made is that with Mephisto, is that she can alter everything inside the reality however she wants. And that kind of has gone beyond the scope of what abilities she's thought to have had in the MCU. So,
okay.
Yeah, like I still think Mephisto is involved. There's too many hints to him not being involved that it would make no sense for him not to still be involved. Of course, we get to see Wanda and Vision. Like, Vision confronts Wanda about what's going on, about how he's scared, about how he doesn't know, he can't remember anything. There's a lot of questions as to how did Wanda bring Vision back. Because, again, in the last episode, we did see Vision with a big chunk out of his head.
Yeah, that's right.
Like he was
saw
still a
that.
corpse.
Yep.
So how did she make it so he was alive or whatever? Which, again, to me, that shows more of a Mephisto side of it. Again, because Wanda cannot bring people back from the dead, even though her two boys hint at it in the episode, and even
That's
Agnes
right,
is
they
like,
asked-
"You can do that."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's so many things. Then, of course, there's I don't know if you picked up on it, but there's the scene when they're talking about, they're talking about Wanda. Monica says, "Well, she could have killed Thanos all by herself had he not ordered the Blitz or whatever." And Agent Wu says, "Well, Captain Marvel could have probably done that." You notice the look that she says, "We're not talking about her," and then she goes off, and Darcy kind of gives Agent Wu a look like, "What's that all about?" Because there was like kind of a cold
That's
thing
right,
there.
yeah.
So I guess we're going to learn as to why Monica has sort of a cold relationship thing there with Captain Marvel, because, again, like the last time we seen Monica and Captain Marvel, she was helping her pick out the costume colors for her costumes. So, there's obviously something there that we're going to learn about Monica and Captain Marvel and why their relationship is the way it is or whatever. But
Interesting. Okay.
there's lots of stuff going on in this episode. You notice I don't know if you noticed, but there's a toy tiger, and Agnes at one point says, you can't control this tiger or whatever, and she's talking about herself.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah,
okay.
there's of course the big reveal comes at the very end of the episode when Vision and Wanda are talking and the doorbell rings and she's like, "You don't believe me that I'm not controlling everything," and he's basically saying that he doesn't
Right,
really.
we don't get to see who it is, though.
Oh yeah, you do. And so she opens the door, and standing there is
Oh, right, it's her.
Evan
right, it's her
Peters'
brother.
version of Quicksilver. Now, those of you that have been watching the movies know that that's Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, not Quicksilver from the Marvel movies. So, of course, because Darcy even comments on it as she recast Pietro, I'm not sure how they plan on explaining that as him being
Well, you said that he was
Pietro.
coming.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they explain that, but that is the big reveal at the end of the episode. Again, this week coming, there's another bunch of stuff. Like this episode seemed to really be reminiscent of Family Ties and Growing Pains.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I could see that,
what
yeah.
it was like. Because I mean, was it Family Ties or Growing Pains that painted the
Family Ties.
Family Ties? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was, you know, and the house kind of has a combination
it was
look
Family
of both.
Ties that had the painting of the thing.
Of course, Vision in that episode makes reference to the fact that, you know, just before when they're arguing, she's like, "I'm going to bed," and he's like, "Why? So you can change everything again?" And because remember, he says that, like,
That's
he
right, I
actually
remember
says that,
that,
like,
yeah.
like because they're arguing about the fact that he's saying you can't control me, and there's a whole lot here that, to me, just hammers home the fact that I don't think Wanda is in complete control. I think she thinks she is, and I think she's been led to believe she has control, but I don't think she does. So somehow, because Wanda does not have the ability to simply create life,
Right. Okay.
right? So how did Vision come back to life? If he's actually alive, or is that just his corpse that's animated that she's stuck back together? How did the two children come about? Where did they come from? Did she just create them? Now, I know in the comics, her powers are different, a little bit different than they are here. Like I said, in the comics, she actually did just create them because she can alter reality. She has these reality-altering powers. And they've never shown that in the Marvel Universe. So I'm guessing that what we're seeing is everything there is manifestations that Mephisto has given her the ability to do. I think that the reality-altering powers and the ability to create these two children and all this and reanimate Vision, I think all that's come from Mephisto. That's what I think. So I don't think that it's actually her. I think that she's made an agreement at some point with Mephisto in her grief over losing Vision, you know.
That she gets these.
That she gets all these other abilities. I think that's what's happening. And it's so that she can try to create her own happiness. I mean, you know, because she says to Vision, you know, when they're both flying there, you know, I'm doing this for us and whatever, you know, like it's, and then she says, you know, let me handle it. Like almost everything that's said and almost everything that happens just keeps pointing in that direction to me. So I really, truly believe that. And I think that that's another reason, of course, with the whole, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness coming. And again, with Spider-Man, we know that the multiverse is coming into effect with the Marvel Universe here. So we know that there's going to be crossovers and there's going to be people portraying different characters and people playing characters we've already seen before, but different actors playing them. And we know all this stuff is coming. We know that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in the next Spider-Man movie. We know this. They've been spotted on set. And we know that, Doc Ock from the second Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire is going to be there. We know that the Electro from the Andrew Garfield movies is going to be there. So we know that the multiverse is coming into effect. So I'm guessing that with Evan Peters' version of Quicksilver is the first, you know, I mean, they gave us, they gave us the actual first indications of it in Spider-Man Far From Home when Mysterio claimed to be from a different Earth, but he actually wasn't. But I think the first actual incursion into our universe from another universe, as an example, is this version of Quicksilver. So I think that's how it's all coming.
Now, how many more left in this Wandavision? 4 more? Until
6, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay, until the movie.
And then the next thing that's coming out is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff before the movies.
Right. Okay.
So it's just, I think that's what we're going to learn is because there's supposed to be a really big reveal coming, almost like the Luke Skywalker reveal in The Mandalorian. There's supposed to be a big reveal coming in WandaVision too. So I don't think it was Evan Peters because it's too soon for them to do that. I think they're going to hold whatever this reveal is for the end. So, but I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot going on in the episode. You know, Wanda has been exhibiting powers that we've never seen before.
So we'll have
for
to...
some reason, Vision had the ability, obviously, to when he touched
Yeah.
Herb's head, is it Herb?
Whatever.
Touched his head, he was able to free him from Wanda's abilities. He was able to remove the email. We're going to see it in, I believe it's the next episode where he touches Agnes, and even Agnes is like, "Are you here to help me? Are the Avengers here to help?" Or whatever.
Right.
Like, there's lots of things coming that, for whatever reason, Vision has that ability to kind of take people out of Wanda's control,
Yeah, I'm done.
which is
cold.
why I don't think she can control him. I think she starts out being able to control him, but he's slowly
Coming out of it.
So I think what they're going to do is they're going to use this as a way to bring Vision back to life in the actual Marvel Universe, which I think is a fantastic idea. I really liked Vision. I was disappointed that they killed him off the way they did. I'm sure that we're not done seeing the last of the Infinity Stones at all. I think that through the multiverse, that's how we're going to see Infinity Stones come back into play. So I think, honestly, I think Vision is just going to come back in some fashion. They're going to bring him back. And, overall, I watched the episode and I was like, holy crap, there's so much here. I watched it again 3-4 times.
Yeah.
It's just amazing what they're doing. And
So you like what they're doing?
oh my God, yeah.
Okay.
Like, and to see Wanda come out of the anomaly and, basically look at everybody and threaten them and
That
see her
surprised
almost
me.
like the villain. It was like, that's kind of cool. I don't think that she really is the villain. I think in some way in her grief, she's been affected by Mephisto. So I really don't think, I think by the end of it, we're going to find out, maybe not the end of this show, but I think by the end of the so-called trilogy with this Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, that by Doctor Strange, she's going to be back to being a hero again. It's just, we're going to see how she's been affected and why she's been affected the way she has been. So it should be
Okay.
really interesting.
Well, there you go.
So,
Very good.
I mean, there's lots. When you watch the episodes, remember, everybody, just watch what's said, just and think about it and go, because they're, like I said, the hint right away with the first hint comes within moments, pretty much, of the thing starting, where she's like, "Why aren't you doing what I want you to do?" It shows she thinks she's in control. And that came within the first few minutes of the show. So anyway.
Okay. There we are, folks.
All right. So
There's
I hope
your
you guys
update.
enjoyed it. I do want to give a shout out to All in the Pen. We released our second episode this past Saturday. It's on our YouTube page, and it will be up on our superlativeradio.com
Yep.
page. So check that out. It is hilarious.
It's
Please like and share.
It's got some good gags.
Give
and
it
stuff.
to
It's good.
everybody. Let everybody you know see it, because it is funny. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We will catch you guys next time for another episode of Let's Talk with a Saw, right here on Superlative Radio. Sorry we are late this week, but real life
Gets in the way.
got in the way this week, with my personal life and his and stuff. We weren't able to get it out on time, so we are a day late. So
Snowstorms and all kinds of things.
So
Yep.
we'll see you guys next week for another episode. Till then, stay safe, take care.
Have a good one. See you later.